Hello, everybody, and welcome to day one of Western short-term e-learning, coronavirus edition. Um, so, if you weren't in class on Tuesday, or you perhaps weren't paying attention, or forgot this was happening, I am making videos for every day that we are out on e-learning that wasn't the regularly planned, Wednesday e-learning. And this is for those of you that maybe just work better hearing the directions explained to you. Maybe you like hearing the poems read to you, or maybe you just here for my few extra tips that I promised I'd give you if you tuned in for the video. So glad to have you here. I am recording these all in one day, so I'm going to be in the same sweatshirt for all four of them. I hope it doesn't bother any of you. So this is the video for Thursday, November 19th. And as per your agenda on Google Classroom, you have two sonnets to read today. They're both by our friend William Shakespeare. And it's Sonnet 18 and Sonnet 116. Both of these are about love, so for those of you who do not enjoy when we read so heavily about love, unfortunately, today may not be your favorite day, but I promise the poems that we'll read, that we'll read on Monday, will not be so mushy-gushy. So hang with me for today, and the next poems we read, they'll be different, I promise. But these are actually some really famous Shakespearean sonnets that if you have not heard them quoted before, you definitely will at some point in your life. So let's just start out. I'll give them a read through, and then we'll talk about some tips and stuff to help you better understand the sonnets. So here we go. Starting with Sonnet 18. If you don't have this pulled up on Google Classroom, it might help you just to follow along. If you need to, pause now, go get it. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag, thou wondrest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. So that's number 18. I'm going to read the second sonnet to you, and then we'll double back and talk about some general tips. This is sonnet number 116. This should be in the same document. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when an alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever-fixed mark, that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is a star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. So there you go. Those are the two sonnets you're reading for today. If you were just here for the reading, you can go ahead and nope out. But if you're here for more, stay. So the first thing that you need to realize about these sonnets is, Shakespeare's times English was English, but it was early modern English, meaning that a lot of the terms and ways they said things are very outdated now. So a good example of this is frequently in these sonnets it says thee or thou or thine. This is an old-timey form of the second person pronoun, or you. So every time you see a thee or a thou, replace it with like a you or a yours, and it might help you understand the poem a little better. So, like, for example, oh, and by the way, as I'm giving you these tips, it might help you to annotate it on your poem somewhere, whether it's in Notability or print it out. I always find when I'm having trouble understanding a poem, going through and annotating when I find out what things mean can really help when I look back and try to get an idea of the big picture. So if you know that's you, it may really help you to annotate some of the stuff I'm telling you on your poem. But you don't have to. I'm never going to know if you do or don't. It's totally up to you. So anyway, with the thee, thou, you, yours, an example of this is the first two lines of sonnet number 18, where the original says, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate." So when you replace the thee and the thou with you, it sounds more like this. "Shall I compare you to a summer's day? You are more lovely and more temperate." A little bit easier to understand. You may still need to look up what temperate means, but you're on your way there, right? Just by knowing that fact. Another thing you need to know about early modern English is that words that end in, verbs specifically, that end in th or apostrophe st or est are just different old-fashioned ways of saying present tense verbs. So an example of this in Sonnet 18 is those line 10, 11, 12 there, where it says OW apostrophe ST, or wander apostrophe ST, or grow apostrophe ST. So they actually do the apostrophe here because they're trying to get rid of a syllable so that the syllables still fit in iambic pentameter. Normally there would be an E where the apostrophe is, and it would be oest, or growest, or wonderest, but they have to cut it so they have few enough syllables, so it's ost, which is very weird to say, grost. And basically what you can do, a trick that you can do for verbs like this in the present tense, is to find out what the regular present tense verb is and just read it like that. So how you would do that for these lines is obviously the verbs that these are o, wander, and grow. So I'm going to read them with our modern verbs and see if it makes it a little bit clearer. I'm in line 10. Remember, line 10 of Sonnet 18. "Nor lose possession of that fair thou owes, nor shall death brag, though wonders in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou grows." I didn't replace the thous, but you get what I'm saying. So that may help you too. Also, just a general reminder, sometimes these lines don't rhyme like they're supposed to. That's because as words have evolved, things don't rhyme the way they used to. These words used to rhyme the way they were written, but now we pronounce them differently, so sometimes they don't. So in Sonnet 18, temperate and date in lines 2 and 4 respectively don't rhyme anymore. They used to. So this is still a sonnet. Same with lines 2 and 4 on Sonnet 116. Love used to rhyme with remove. It doesn't anymore. So just keep that in mind. Don't let that throw you off too bad. What else? I think that's really the biggest pieces of advice I have for you, except for the obvious. If you come across a word you don't know, look it up, right? And then again, I would recommend writing it down, annotating it on your copy of the poem so that you don't forget, because what's the point of looking up a word if you just forget it the next time you read it and you still haven't figured out what the line means. So just like I had you do for Wednesday, you're telling me what the problem or the question or the situation is that's happening in the first 12 lines of each of these sonnets. You are telling me the solution or the twist or the resolution that happens in the last 2 lines of all these sonnets, and then you're making your connection to your personal experience or emotion or whatever that may be. Remember, every Shakespearean sonnet is going to have the first 12 lines be some kind of problem or situation, And the last 2 lines are going to be some kind of solution to the problem or some kind of twist to the situation. Every Shakespearean sonnet has these. So not only will it help you understand it to analyze, it's the questions I'm having you answer anyway. So if you need more help, like I said in class, I will be hosting Zoom office hours on every day at 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. So swing on by anytime between that hour and we will have a nice little chat. Other than that, if I don't see you in the Zoom, I will see you in Friday's video. Bye!